Imagine you're in a prison, but the door is open and you don't realize the door is open. The truth of your situation is that you're free. You could just get up and walk out the door. There's a beautiful meadow out there. It's peaceful. It's warm. It's relaxing. The prison, if you remain a prisoner, is in your mind. It's a state of mind. It's a state of bondage. When we wake up, it's basically like realizing that the door not only is open, but has been open the whole time. We just didn't know it. We weren't aware of it. Realizing that freedom, realizing the freedom that there's no prison means that we walk out. We prove it. When I talk about awareness of the referent, I'm symbolizing it by this infinite space that's outside of this prison. But he's also one with the space inside the prison because the door's open. There's really no difference between the space inside or outside or the doorway itself. It's really just one space. But we don't realize it until perhaps someone found that open doorway, realized it for themselves, and then out of compassion came back to tell you, hey, I want you to know we're already free. We just don't realize it. And here's how you do it. That message is usually some form of you're already free, or freedom already is, or there's really no prison. Someone says, look, this prison isn't real. It could be challenging to accept that for someone who grew up in a prison. To prove it, you walk out. If you hear that you're already free in a sense, or that there's no prison, and you keep living like a prisoner, and you don't ever leave, then you haven't realized it yet. It could be a comforting thought. Someone says, there's no prison, you're already free. And something in you relaxes a little bit. You're like, oh man, I think that's right. And I'm just going to hang out with my friends here in the prison, my fellow prisoners. And I'm going to participate in the usual prison conversation. Maybe we play chess. We enjoy meals with our friends in the prison. There can be a tendency to want to remain there and be identified with that prison mentality or prisoner mentality because we have friends there and they're trapped like we are. When we have that glimpse, that recognition or intuition that in a sense freedom already is, and that the self isn't real, which is like saying the prison isn't real. There's a building and it has a certain appearance, but it's all mentally generated because you could just walk out anytime you want. So you're not really bound. The temptation would be to stay there and just kind of be comfortable with that bit of insight, but never fully realize it. Obviously, you're free to do that. You could do that. On some level, we prefer suffering because it's like a little cage we get used to. I'm saying we can break free of that, and that's what I recommend. So if we're just starting out, just keep going. Just stabilize the awareness until you've realized that freedom fully. Because once you see it, it's not something you see with your eyes. And again, it's very difficult to describe, but it would be kind of like stepping out into the light of this infinite beauty just outside the prison door. Even just standing in the doorway and seeing it is just indescribable to someone who is raised with a prison mentality. I would recommend just keep going. And if you're not sure if you've realized it yet, you haven't realized it yet. It's unmistakable. And try to maintain humility and what I call not knowing, which means realize that we really don't know. It's an antidote to arrogance. Like, we're already free, and then again, making an ego out of that, making a self out of it, puffing yourself up because you've had this particular insight. And then you can impress your prisoner friends, but no one ever goes anywhere. That's a temptation. So I recommend that we just be honest about where we are and keep practicing and keep going. If it's a full-blown realization, if it's a spontaneous realization, I'm thinking of someone like Eckhart Tolle, who according to his account in The Power of Now, just woke up entirely and was liberated, had ego death and everything, all in one fell swoop. That's possible. It's unmistakable. So if you're not sure, just keep going. And try to maintain that sense of humility if you can. Humility not being a small self, it's about realizing that maybe you're not done yet and you just keep going, keep cultivating. Because the dream that we get trapped in, that prison dream, is real to us when we're trapped in it. Real in the sense that we don't know any different. We live in fear and we suffer from it. Just like we'd suffer from any false idea that we believe in, some boogeyman or some devil or some kind of authority that's controlling us or something like that. Until we're free of that, I recommend that we just be honest. If you want to be liberated, if you really want to wake up and be free, you have to break away from the pack. There's a certain prisoner mentality, and people won't like it when you start to wake up and become free. There's an old saying, misery loves company. Just don't be one of those people. Recognize the illusion for what it is, the illusion of self and of suffering, and just keep going with it. It's like a small flame. When you first start off, it's like having a candle with a new flame, and you want to protect that and let it grow into a stable fire that could warm a household, perhaps. And at some point it just burns everything down. Everything that's false, that is, burns down. You want to nurture that. So I think that's important to do that. And to notice that some people may try to dissuade you. They could be family members. That's really common. Like, who do you think you are? And of course, if you're a student, you'll be like, who do I think I am?